Hi, I'm Zenamir with our session Content at Cubix. The whole purpose of having this session is to give you an overview, a brief overview regarding content production, SEO, content marketing, and how we set up our team. You see, content is a generic term that encompasses copy and various other forms of writing. Copy, on the other hand, is more specific, and it specifically refers to the selling type of information that you put out there. For example, on your home page, your services pages, and your sales letters, and various taglines and scripts that you put in your advertisements. So, if you talk about content as a generic form of writing, that would include your forum postings, your articles, blogs, your guest posting, and other kinds of writing that you'd include. And this type of writing is usually used by your SEO team. Now coming to SEO, I'd say that SEO is part of content marketing. In fact, the way things work in our department is the writers and SEO work together to form what we call content marketing. The SEO people, what they do is they conduct research regarding search keywords, and our writers implement them in their articles and blog posts. Now that is taken to different forums and posted out to market our services. Now within this process, there comes a third element, which is editing. Editing is largely misunderstood in our industry. Unfortunately, we think of editing as just 20% of the work, whereas it's actually 80% of the work. Because if you spend 30 minutes of writing a piece of content like 400 words, you should spend at least 30 minutes more or 40 minutes more rewriting that and shaping it up so that it's perfect. But the unfortunate thing is, in this world today, we are pressed for time, and even if you look at bigger and larger corporations that put out content, you will notice that there are glitches in their work, and that's understandable because everybody is pressed for time. When we come to talking about handling a content team, we'd like to strike a balance of 70-30. 70% would be your younger crowd that you bring in, people with 6 months experience or a year's experience, and then you'd also have the experienced lot, which make up 20-30% of the team. Now that kind of balance is ideal in terms of producing the kind of quality you need as well as the speed. You can start your young people with around 500 words a day, but after 5 or 6 months you'd find that that 500 words almost doubles, if not more than doubles. Handling a team with young people is, well, you have to have patience, and along with patience, you have to be willing to put in the effort to work along with them. You'll find that maybe 7 out of 10 people will go the way with you, and they'll pick up on what you're trying to teach them and show them the way. 20-30% sometimes drop out, and that's understandable. That's the kind of risk that you have to be willing to take when you're working with younger people. Okay, now in terms of content production and editing, there are a couple of crucial factors. One is the research that you put in, and the other thing is usage of tools, avoiding plagiarism and making sure that your grammar is spot on. There are 2 or 3 tools that we normally use in our industry. One is Grammarly, which is quite common and pretty popular all over the world, I'd say. We use a premium version of it that ensures that our grammar is, we at least meet 80% of the standards. And it also has a plagiarism checker in it, but that's not that reliable. We prefer to go with Copyscape, which is a paid tool, and Copyscape is the industry standard actually. Now, talking about industry standards in terms of grammar, Grammarly makes a lot of suggestions, but that does not mean that you implement each and every one of them. You see, Grammarly is an AI, it's a tool, and it's going to give you suggestions, and you have to use your better judgment when you're finalizing your draft. Not every suggestion that Grammarly makes should be implemented. apart from Grammarly and Copyscape, there's another great tool that's free. It's called the Hemingway app, hemingwayapp.com. This app is pretty accurate in terms of removing passive voice, which is something pretty common with new writers. It takes a little time for them to get used to writing in an active voice. But let me tell you this, while a lot of people go for 100% active voice, sometimes you do need a flavor of passive voice to give your content a good feel. Right, my last point is regarding structure and research, and it's also related to plagiarism or avoiding plagiarism. Now, most people, what they do is they take an article that they like or they fancy that has a lot of information in it, and they tend to rewrite that. What happens is, especially if you're a new writer starting out and you start rewriting according to a reference, it's pretty likely that you're going to repeat a lot of the vocabulary that's already there, and it's going to show up in your sentences, and when you run it through Copyscape, it's bound to show up at least 10 or 15% in plagiarism. The better way to go about it and the more authentic way to actually write your copy is to conduct some research, spend at least 30 to 40 minutes on research, and choose the top 5 or 6 best links that you can. Out of those links, you filter through and you pick up the best information, and according to that information, you produce a structure for your draft. You write according to that structure, and what you're going to end up with is a mixture of information from those 5 or 6 different sources. That's going to make your article look better than even one of those articles. And the best part about it is that it's going to have a mixture of information in there, which will make you stand out. And of course, it's not going to show up that easily in a plagiarism check. That's all for now, and I'll see you next time with our session. Thank you.